Hello and welcome to another episode of Peak Alpha Strobe Light Series. Today we are going to meet somebody who has the kind of life that we would all like to have. In the last 1 year, she's been to Kaziranga, Rishikesh, Ladakh, Rameshwaram, the place, not the cafe, and done stand-up paddling, windsurfing, and yoga by the river Ganga. Let's meet Kripa Poonacha, who is the founder of the Fit Oyster that curates getaways, active getaways, and experiences exclusively for women. We'll try and see how we can get on one of these experiences, and we'll also ask her if she's going to open out these getaways for men as well. Welcome to the show, Kripa.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you about all the wonderful getaways that you have in store for this year and what you've done last year. You seem to be taking your people to really exotic locations that are on everybody's bucket list. But before that, tell us a little bit about what the Fit Oyster does.
Fit Oyster is a brand for women. We are focused on women, movement, staying active, and of course, having the time of our lives. So typically, we do two things, right? Like I said, the cornerstone of the brand is movement. It is focused on women. I have a bamboo t-shirt business also, which basically allows women to enjoy their movement journeys in comfort. The active getaways are to take this concept a little ahead, give and encourage women to take that little bit of a break from their stressful daily lives that they lead, and step out into nature, into outdoors, and try adventure travel in a safe, supportive environment along with other women who possibly could be trying that movement for the first time.
Okay. So you have small groups of women. So ideally, how big is the group that you take to a location?
We've done group sizes of 8 going up to 14. And we try and keep it as small as that, just so that it's personal, it's easy for me to manage, and also the connections that we form when we're a smaller group is just great.
Yeah. So besides the breathtaking landscape and taking in the beautiful scenery, there is a larger purpose to these retreats. One is for women to find those moments of leisure.
Yeah.
But I think there is a bigger purpose to this as well, right?
If I can just draw back on my own story for you, I have grown up in a family and a community and an atmosphere where going outdoors, sports, and adventure is really a part of my life. And the joy and the thrill that I get when I'm out doing something new and learning a new skill is very tangible for me. So I'm trying to, it's almost like a social experiment, right? I get to do all the things that I love to do. And why don't I share that with other women who maybe didn't think that this was something that they would do as well? Just take an example of, let's say, a simple water sport like kayaking in the ocean. Yeah. A lot of women come to me saying, you know, I've never been in the water. I don't swim. I don't think I can do this. And then half an hour or 1 hour later, you just need to see the smile on their face. And, you know, when they tell me that I didn't think I could do this and I'm so proud of myself for doing this. I think that sense of confidence and empowerment, that learning a new skill and going outdoors and trying something brand new gives you, it's really what validates everything that I do.
Yeah, it's also a great sense of accomplishment,
It
right?
is. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
But
fabulous.
you were not doing this all your life. This is something that you started recently too. So
Yeah.
tell us what you were doing. I know you were doing a 9 to 5 corporate
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. I spent the first 2 decades of my life, I mean, my working life, in a corporate job. I worked for a large company, and I did, there was the marriage, there were the kids, there was the job, there was like, typical, I have to do everything and I want it all. So at some point, when I stepped away from my corporate career, I continued to do part time work because I was determined not to go back and work full time. But as I kept going through the period after I moved on from my corporate role, I kept asking myself this question, saying, "What next for me?" Right? What do I want to do? I've loved that corporate career. Really, it gave me a sense of purpose and identity, and it also showed my kids the fact that there are no roles in our family, and that there is a sense of equivalence in what tasks are done by who. So, like I was telling you earlier, I had to ask myself, okay, so if I want to spend the next 2 decades doing something, what is that something going to be? Can I take what I love, make a business out of it, and encourage and support other women along the way? It's turned out fine, but I have to thank my corporate job for some of the basic things that I take for granted. Like, I know some things because I've experienced it, and I've dealt with customers, I've dealt with colleagues, and I've really seen how a woman really juggles so many things in the workplace. It kind of justifies for me why it's so important, like you said, women taking time out for themselves, whether we call it leisure, whether we call it self-care, whether we call it, new experiences. Today, I think that's something that all of us need to consciously do for ourselves.
Yeah. Most of your activities are physical, adventurous
Yeah.
activities. I'm
Yes.
sure you get questions from people about how fit does one need to be before one signs up for these getaways.
Basic mobility is required. But really, Anupama, what I find is it is a lot to do with the mind, not just the physical aspect of it. Like I said, if you've never been in the water, and somebody's telling you get into the water and learn or try to do something else, you're safe. I take care that the equipment and the partners and the safety is a big thing for me. So I do take care of all that. But to put yourself out there and just try something as simple as getting on a stand-up paddle, it does not require you to be a super fit person. It requires you to have the courage and say that I'm going to try this.
How do you choose these destinations? Is there a connection between the destination you choose and the purpose you want to achieve with the getaway?
The purpose for all getaways really is to get women outdoors, to get women to try a little bit of adventure, to get women to try and form new mind-body connections. Find the thing that you love. So if during a year I curate water sports and hikes and martial arts and dance forms or theater, everybody stays active and loves different aspects of this. For you, your joy could be yoga or swimming, for example. For me, possibly strength training is what is my most favorite activity. Doesn't matter. At the end of all these, you will find somebody who takes to surfing much better and they love it, right? They want to take their family back and they want to go back and they want to try it again. So it's really for you to find that movement practice that gives you the most joy. And I find that in safe groups, of women who travel, you will push yourself a little bit. You'll be supported by somebody else, and in that environment, you will do a little bit more than you would do by yourself. To your other question, how do I pick my destinations? I am looking for diverse experiences. I want to try everything, and I want to take along everybody else along with me. Some locations, yes, I have to go and visit the places and experience it for myself, just to make sure that the activity partners are experts at what they do, that the safety measures are great. And some of these places are tier 2 cities. So if you don't go and check out the accommodation or, travel, I don't want nasty surprises. So there is a little bit of a recce that happens for most of my trips.
One question that I got from my friends and from my colleagues when they knew I was talking to you was, why are these trips only for women? And I'm supposed to convince you to make them open to men as well.
There is a place of privilege when you just take it for granted that I can do the outdoors, I can try various things, right? I want that to be an option and a thought for as many women as possible. So I began there. But you're right, I've had this question put to me quite often. So to you, I will say that if somebody wants to curate something for their team or for their family, then you will get to experience the Fit Oyster experience. We can, I'm happy to do it, but the women will continue to have my focus and a soft spot from the Fit Oyster brand.
Yeah. You've been witness to so many of these getaways, and I can only imagine the connections that are formed after the activities when you sort of meet over dinner or in the evenings after everything is done. So, take us there and tell us what are some of the learnings that you have found or exchanges that have happened between the women.
Because the getaway is planned around activity, the women who come are all on the same wavelength. So it's fabulous, just fabulous to see the advice that older person will give a younger person, or the older person learning from the younger person how to use digital media, or work connections, or it's all kinds of connections. You could be finding your teenage son an internship. You could be making connections to go on your next holiday together, because there are two people out there saying, hey, I want to do this place, or I'm already going here, why don't we go together? Or it could be finding contacts across hobbies, across workplaces, across. And Bangalore, a lot of the people are from Bangalore. So it's funny how you find that there's less than 6 degrees of separation.
True.
Yeah. Evenings are, it's all like this. Everybody's sitting down and they're comparing notes and they're saying, hey, you did so well in this activity and tomorrow you tried this. And suddenly, you want the other to succeed. And I find that just great. There's no concern that, oh, she did this and I didn't do this or whatever. There's just a general encouraging and just joy every evening, because you've accomplished something. So there's a lot to talk about, and there's something to plan for tomorrow, and to say, you do this like this, and I'll support you on this, and let's do this together. It's great.
So as somebody who was in a 9 to 5 and then started your own business, what do you have to give as advice to somebody who wants to go down that same path?
There are two schools of thought, right? Do it early on so that you're younger, you're fearless, you have the ability to try out various things. But whether you do it as a without too much corporate experience, or you get to it after a little bit of corporate experience. Both have their advantages. The one thing I can say is actually two things. One is, yes, find something that you're passionate about, because it is a hard, long, lonely journey, especially if you're a solopreneur. You need to be able to tell yourself that it's okay. I'm doing this, and at the end of this, the joy that I get will keep me going for a little bit more. That's the first thing. The second thing I want to say is, have the courage and the conviction to stay the path. It's very, it tests you. Yeah. And the more convinced you are, and the more happier you are when you're doing something for your business, it'll just help you carry on. If you've got a couple of years of corporate experience, it's great, because it teaches you processes and how to work in a team, and how to make sure that your operations are kind of a little bit more streamlined. There is a benefit in that, of course. Fit Oyster is part of the pre-incubation cohort at NSR Cell, which works in the IIMB campus, and they do a fabulous job supporting entrepreneurs, not just women entrepreneurs, but right now I'm working to submit and hopefully get into the incubation cohort.
But also tell us about your accessories line, and how did that come about?
Actually, that was the first idea.
Is it? Okay.
I used to teach a fitness format, and for the women and men, I used to have men in my class as well, who worked out with me. I decided that I wanted to create a t-shirt line. And then as I was looking at the fabric, I realized that I don't want dry fit, I don't want cotton. So bamboo is something that I came across. And, the more I looked at it, I want to be sensitive to the fact that there is something that each one of us can do for the environment. Bamboo as a fiber, it's plant-based, so you're minimizing the amount of synthetics and plastics in your fabric. Plus, it has properties of being anti-odor and antimicrobial. It absorbs moisture really well. So I was convinced that I want to go down a path that is slightly different, and have women work out in gear that is comfortable for them. So I have on my website bamboo t-shirts for women. I have some offerings that are unisex, bamboo socks and bamboo sweat towels, etc. Again, really, like I said, these are fitness accessories and apparel. And then as I was working on that, I was like, but there's so much more I can do for women, and the active getaways actually came in. So typical entrepreneur, you begin somewhere, you need to have the agility to say that, all right, I tried this, let me try this, be agile and move. The more possessive I get about an idea, the more stuck I'll be. So that's another learning that I've had.
Yeah, it's interesting that you started with the t-shirt first and then started the getaways, because most people would have started the getaways and then added merch.
Well, when I launched in July 2023, I had both offerings on, but you're right. The ideation began with, let me make t-shirts for this group of people who work out with me.
So what shape do you see Fit Oyster taking as we go this year, next year?
I want to reach more women. There are all my destination so far has been India. There is a lot to see over here. I am open to trying out international destinations, the ones closer to us, because I'm conscious of the fact that if I make these breaks too long, I make it harder for women to take time off from family, from kids, from work. So my typical getaway is 4 days. I'll combine it with a weekend, and I'll do 2 weekdays and 2 days of a weekend. The minute I explore a place that is far away, then it ends up being a week. So I want to have a mix of both. I want to keep these, the 4 day trips as a staple, but say 4 times, 5 times, 6 times a year, a Meghalaya and a Ladakh take you a week to 10 days.
Yes.
Similarly, if I try a destination that's outside of India, I will look for places that are close by and that don't take you away from home for more than what's absolutely necessary. So my goal is, reach more women. Hopefully, I'll have a community and a tribe that is 500 women by the end of 5 years. We're already at about 60, 70 women who travel with me, who come on weekend community sessions. So we're building this community, right? One of the other things that we do is once or twice in a month, we're like, hey, let's go on this trek and let's go try Pilates and let's go do a yoga session. And we're constantly keeping that bond going. So I want to build a community of women that are there for each other, that want to try adventure travel, and that will pass on this message of get outdoors and keep active.
Right. So how do we get to know of your getaways?
Everything is published on our website and on the social media pages. So you can follow us on Instagram or go look at the website. And I also slowly am starting to create WhatsApp groups so that in case people want to be informed about our trips, that's also an option. The other thing is at some point I want to maybe look at technology, shared apps that can help me reach new audiences and keep the community on a platform as well.
So this is a question that I ask all our guests who come on the show. How did you get to hear of Peak Alpha and become our customer?
Our relationship with Peak Alpha is a long one. 2007, I was pregnant with my daughter, and we marched ourselves to Priya's office and said that, oh, we need to plan for our kids and for us and everything. It's been great to have a structure around how we've planned our finances. The kids are now, my son's done with his engineering almost, and my daughter's in her 11th grade. Priya helped us work around what was the structure that we wanted for our family, for the kids to go and study, and as we grow older, what we can do. But I also, Fit Oyster is bootstrapped right now. I stopped working a while back, but I can manage and juggle my finances simply because there was a good financial foundation laid at that point. So we're constantly building on it and trying to work around that. So that's the other thing for women. Financial planning is important.
Yeah. Do you see any specific benefits by working with an advisor?
Of course, like I said, you can get a little haphazard because there is just so much going on at that stage of our lives where two careers are just, intense. There's two kids in the fray. There's parents growing older, and you're just trying to hold all this together. Unless you're very inclined and very organized and you know what you're doing, then you're fine. But if your priorities are everything else, then it's best to work with a professional who can just help you navigate this.
And I hope all your dreams of making the Fit Oyster bigger, better, and brighter for women come true.
Thank you very much. I had a good time being here. And yeah, I hope to see a lot more women come out there and have a fabulous time with us. Thank you, Anupama.
As we wrap up today's discussion, it's fascinating for me to see the parallels between what we do at Peak Alpha and what Kripa does at the Fit Oyster. For the last 20 years, we've been helping people achieve their financial dreams. Kripa is an enabler too. She helps women climb mountains, scuba dive, step out of their comfort zone, all the while providing support, guidance, and expertise. If you want to try one of her getaways, we will leave you Kripa's contact details. If you want to reach us to help you manage money better, here are our contact details. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the show. Till we meet next time, take care.